Hello everybody and welcome back to a new video. Yes. Today we will be doing my predictions for the top 50 MLB free agent. So starting with some honorable mention, we got Joey Votto. I think he will retire. Then Michael A. Taylor. I think Michael A. Taylor will be going to the Reds. Gary Sanchez. I think will be going to the Detroit Tigers. Hyun-Jin Ryu. I think he will be going to the Pittsburgh Pirates. Moving on to David Robertson. I think David Robertson will return to the Yankees. Hunter Renfroe will be going to the Colorado Rockies. Tommy Pham will be going to the Cleveland Guardians. Jock Peterson will be going to LA, the Angels. James Paxton will be going to the Arizona Diamondbacks. Craig Kimbrell will be returning where he started his career with the Atlanta Braves. Lanson will be returning to the St. Louis Cardinals. And for the final honorable mention, we have Clayton Kershaw, who will be resigning with the Los Angeles Dodgers. So getting started with our top 50. At number 50, we have Tim Anderson. I think he will be going to the Los Angeles Angels. Moving on to number 49, Tim Anderson's former teammate. I think Liam Hendricks will be going to the Los Angeles Dodgers. Now moving on to number 48, former superstar pitcher Luis Severino will be going to the White Sox. At number 47, Jacob Junis will be heading to the Kansas City Royals. Hector Neris will be going to the Arizona Diamondbacks. At number 45, Brandon Belt will be returning to San Francisco, to the Giants. At number 44, Frankie Montas will return from injury and will be joining the Washington Nationals. At number 43, Yuki Matsui will make his MLB debut on the St. Louis Cardinals. At number 42, veteran Jason Hayward will be joining the Seattle Mariners. At number 41, Justin Turner will be staying with the Boston Red Sox. At number 40, Whit Merrifield will sign with the White Sox of Chicago. At number 39, Ahmed Rosario will be going to Miami to play for the Marlins. At number 38, Gio Urshela will be going to Baltimore to play for the Orioles. At number 37, Tyler Mahle will be joining the Philadelphia Phillies. At number 36, Harrison Bader will be joining the Minnesota Twins. At 35, Sean Manaea will be joining the Oakland A's, soon to be known as the Las Vegas A's. At number 34, we have Michael Lorenzen going to the San Diego Padres. At number 33, World Series champion Aroldis Chapman will be going to the St. Louis Cardinals. At number 32, Nick Martinez will be signing with the Astros of Houston. At number 31, Kevin Kiermaier will be joining the New York Yankees and becoming their everyday center fielder. At number 30, Mike Clevenger will be going to the Pittsburgh Pirates to become one of their head of the rotation starters. At number 29, Ronaldo Lopez will be going to the Colorado Rockies and becoming a starting pitcher. At number 28, Yariel Rodriguez will be going to the Milwaukee Brewers. At number 27, Robert Stevenson will be going to the Baltimore Rays. At number 26, a returning Rhys Hoskins will be going to the Chicago Cubs to become their everyday first baseman. At number 25, Kenta Maeda will be going to the Texas Rangers to become a depth pitcher. At number 24, veteran Michael Wacha will join a young team in the Cincinnati Reds and become a veteran presence for them. At number 23, another World Series champion Mitch Garver will become the everyday catcher for the Boston Red Sox, becoming a huge bat and a huge defensive piece for that team. At number 22, Jack Flaherty will be going to the San Francisco Giants to become a mid of the rotation pitcher for them. At number 21, former teammate of Flaherty, Jordan Hicks, will be signing with the Atlanta Braves to make their bullpen even stronger. At number 20, JD Martinez, who's coming off a fantastic season, will be bringing his amazing bat to the Seattle Mariners. At number 19, Seth Lugo, veteran pitcher who's been in the league for a while, will be heading to the Tampa Bay Rays. At number 18, Marcus Stroman will be heading to a Los Angeles Angel team, trying to change their dynamic. At number 17, another starting pitcher in Lucas Giolito. I think he will be heading to the Boston Red Sox to become about a 2-3 starter. I think he's a perfect fit, and I think he could really bolster his career there. Now moving on to 16, we have Jorge Soler, a power bat DH. I think he will be heading north of the border to the Toronto Blue Jays to become their everyday DH. Now moving into the top 15, we have Jung Ho Lee, an outfielder who played in Japan last year. I think he will be making his debut in the MLB with the Minnesota Twins. Lourdes Gurriel at number 14, who had a breakout season last year with the Diamondbacks. I think he will be heading to the Atlanta Braves to become a very good presence in that end of the lineup for them. Now moving on to the 13th spot, Jeimer Candelario, who's also coming off a breakout season with the Nats and the Cubs. I think he will be heading to the Diamondbacks. Now moving on to number 12, Teoscar Hernandez, who's looking for a bounce-back season after a poor season with the Mariners. I think he will be heading to the Milwaukee Brewers. Now moving on to number 11, we have Eduardo Rodriguez, who just opted out of his contract with the Detroit Tigers. I think he will end up signing with the Texas Ranger. Now moving on into the top 10, I will start explaining more my thoughts. We got Shota Imanaga, a left-hand pitcher who was in the Japanese league. He's 30 years old. He's got a lot of great pitches, a lot of movement, great control. I think he will be ending up going to the Blue Jays. Blue Jays, a big fan of these Japanese pitchers, love left-hand pitchers. I think he's a perfect fit for this team, a guy that they can work with. They do have Kikuchi, who is kind of the same style. I do think they fit perfectly with him. He is a veteran, so he's not a young kid. So I really think this would be a great fit for the Toronto Blue Jays. Now moving on to number 9, we have Sonny Gray. Sonny Gray, who's coming off a finishing second place in the American League Cy Young this year, only behind Garrett Cole. He had a great season, and he's a great veteran piece. I think he's a guy that's going to be well sought after because of how long he's been in the league, what he's proven, and he's coming off a super solid year. I think that Sonny Gray will be heading to the Detroit Tigers to really bolster this young staff with Tariq Skubal, Casey Mize, Matt Manning. I think if you go get Sonny Gray, you add him to that pitching staff, he becomes your clear-cut number 1, number 2, and he can really help those young guys develop. And Texas, that does have a great chance to compete next year in a pretty weak division. I think it's a perfect fit for the Detroit Tigers. Now moving on to number 8, probably the best closer and best relief pitcher available, not even close. You got Josh Hader. Last year was with the San Diego Padres, had another amazing season, really bolstering his career to probably going to be known as a Hall of Fame worthy reliever with how he's pitched so far in his career. He still has a long way to go, but I do think he's on track so far. I think Hader will be going to the Braves and become really their clear-cut closing pitcher. There's a lot of rumors of him going to the Rangers, but I think the Braves should be very intrigued. They have Raisel Iglesias right now as their closer, but if you go add Josh Hader to that team, I think that makes it even stronger. Put Raisel Iglesias in the 8, finish your game with a guy in Josh Hader who's an absolute beast. Now moving on to number 7, we got Matt Chapman, who's probably the best infielder who is left in this free agent class. I think Matt Chapman is a great defender. He won another Gold Glove. He's one of the best defensive third basemen in the league, in my opinion. He's not the best, but he is one. He has a potential of being an incredible bat, but what he showed last year in the first half was really good, but his second half was really poor. But I think a change of scenery could really help him, and I think he's going to go back to where he started, but not to Oakland, to San Francisco, and around in the same area. I think he's a perfect fit for that team that really need a everyday bat, a veteran piece in a way. I think he'd be a perfect fit for that team, and I think he would look great in that uni. Now moving on to number 6, another World Series winner. We got Jordan Montgomery coming off a great season. Since he's been traded from the New York Yankees, he's really reinvented his career, had a great time with the Cardinals, and then this year with the Rangers, he was even better, was great in the playoffs, was great in the regular season. I think he's really a top 2 pitcher in whatever pitching staff he goes to, and I think he would be traded to will sign with the Baltimore Orioles, really having your clear-cut number 1 guy. I think he would be a perfect fit for that team and a way for the Orioles to get even better, because I think that what they're missing is a great starting pitching. And right now, Jordan Montgomery is a very, very good starting pitcher who's probably not going to be the most expensive to go get. Now we're falling into this top 5, which is absolute studs, starting off with Aaron Nola. Aaron Nola, not coming off the greatest season, but everybody knows how he's a big game pitcher and he's an absolutely fantastic player all around. I think that he'd be a great fit for multiple teams, but I think the team that he would be the best fit for and the team that should be the most aggressive on him is the St. Louis Cardinals. It's been a little bit since they've had that clear-cut ace. I know Adam Wainwright was it a few years ago, but Wainwright hasn't been at the top of his game for a few years now. I think if you go get Aaron Nola, he's going to be your first pitcher. He's going to be your ace, and I think he's a perfect fit for that culture, for that team, for that fan base that want a winning team because they've been lackluster a few years. That's still a division that is easily up for grabs. And I think if the Cardinals can add Aaron Nola as that #1 pitcher, it would be a perfect fit. So I think he will be going to the St. Louis Cardinals. Now at number 4, we have a Cy Young winner recently in Blake Snell. He just won his second Cy Young of his career. Blake Snell coming off a great season. Start of his season wasn't incredible, but after he faced the Rays, it's like something snapped in him. Finished with an absolutely incredible season, and he's a great pitcher. He's still only 30, he's going to be 31 next year, so he's probably going to get a big contract because he's such a good pitcher, and because he's a lefty, and because he's coming off a Cy Young finish. So I think he will be going to the New York Mets. Yes, it's a hot take. The New York Mets don't want to pay a lot, but I just think he's a perfect player for that team that they've been taking chances on older guys. Why not go get that younger guy in Blake Snell? I think he'd be a perfect fit there, and I do think he will end up on that team. Now moving on to Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who is one of the best NPB pitchers to ever be in that league, and now he's making the transition to the MLB. He's an absolute stud. He's still super young, only going to be 25 next year. I think he's one of the highly anticipated players to ever come from Japan, and pitching wise maybe be the highest. I think he would be a perfect fit for the Yankees. The Yankees, if they could go get this guy, add him to Garrett Cole, Carlos Rodon, Nestor Cortez, I think he's be a perfect fit. You get him with some veterans, you add him to a place that loves their Japanese players. I think he'd be a perfect fit for the Yankees, and the Yankees need to make a big splash this offseason, and Yoshinobu Yamamoto would be that big splash. Now moving on to the top 2. At number 2, we got Cody Bellinger coming off an absolute breakout season. After struggling for the last few years, he really found himself in a small market team compared to where he was before. So I do plan on him. I do see him trying to stay on a smaller market team, have less pressure, have more fun, and I think he's a perfect fit for the Cubs. I think the Cubs should really plan on re-signing him. You have no reason to let him go. He became your best player. He became one of the best players in the league again, showed why he was, well known and well liked around the league because of how good he is defensively, offensively, how clutch he is. He hits lefties as well as he hits righties. I think he's still just going to be 28 next year, so I think he's a perfect fit to stay with the Cubs. Give him a 10-year deal. His swing is beautiful, and when he's on his game, he's even better. He's a great playoff player to add to it. So I do think he will be staying with the Chicago Cubs. Now moving on to number 1, and probably the best free agent we've ever seen in the history of the MLB. Two-way superstar Shohei Ohtani, who as of today, while I'm recording this, just won his second unanimous MVP. He is the first player in the MLB history to win 2 unanimous MVP. This is incredible. This guy is going to go down as one of the best athletes, the best superstars in sports and baseball history. This guy is going to get the bag. He's going to make so much money. And who else will be willing to give him as much money as he deserves and give him what he wants? Because he wants to go on a team that will win now and for the future. The perfect team that fits everything that he wants is the Los Angeles Dodgers. Yes, it's the safe answer, it's the boring answer, but it's the answer that makes the most sense for Shohei Ohtani. You want him to go on the biggest market, you go to the Los Angeles Dodgers. You want him to go where he's going to have the most social media, the most interaction, the best place he can go where it's going to be a sold-out crowd every night. If they're losing, if they're winning, who cares? You got to go to the Los Angeles Dodgers. I think he's a perfect fit, and even though he can't pitch next year, he still will have an incredible season. And you know what? He still has an incredible chance to win the MVP, even if he's not pitching. So that is all. That is the top 50 MLB free agents. If I missed somebody, please tell me who else you think will be, who I missed. Also tell me where do you think Ohtani's going to go? Where do you think all these players will end up? It's really tough because it's a lot of players, but, I give you my opinion. I give you where I think. There's some that are, really easy to predict in the way of, you know, there's one team that can afford him, but there's some harder guys at the top 50 that you don't really know. You're kind of taking a guess. But I really enjoyed making this video. I hope you guys all enjoyed, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.